No one dreams of going broke. No one wakes up thinking, today I want to lose everything. But that's how it started. He had plans, he worked hard, he chased after his goals. He did everything he could with the little he had, and for a while it seemed like it would work. A small business, a simple dream. I just want to give my family a better life. But little by little, the bills started piling up. The income stopped, clients disappeared, partners didn't pay, and each day hope got smaller. At first, he told himself, it's just a phase. But the phase became routine, and the routine turned into despair. He tried loans, sold belongings, tried to keep his name clean, his head up, but all he managed was to sink deeper. It got to the point where he was afraid to answer the phone because he already knew it was a debt collector. And more than the empty bank account, it was his heart that was completely bankrupt. He was always an honest man, always paid his bills, helped people, kept his word. But the world doesn't care about that when you're broke. People started to disappear. Friends gone, family judged more than helped. One day, he went to buy something small at a corner store, and his card was declined. A line behind him, judgmental looks, forced smiles of pity. He walked out of there with a knot in his throat and an empty wallet. He sold the car, sold the furniture. There were days he didn't even have breakfast. He slept on the floor next to his daughter, who once asked, "Daddy, will we have bread tomorrow?" And he stayed quiet, because what hurt the most wasn't the hunger, it was the shame. He started to doubt himself. Was he a failure? Had God forgotten about him? He stopped dreaming, stopped smiling, and almost stopped praying. But deep inside there was still a whisper. God didn't bring you this far to abandon you. It was a random night, one of those where you toss and turn, unable to sleep. His mind was racing, confusion, fear, guilt, shame, all tangled together. He got up slowly, went to the kitchen, didn't turn on the lights, sat on the cold floor, and there he started to cry. Not just any cry, it was a cry of surrender. He no longer had the strength to fight, and in that dark room, he spoke to God in a way he never had before. God, if there's still a purpose for me, if you still have something left for my life, show me, because I don't know where else to go. It wasn't a beautiful prayer. No fancy words, no memorized verses, just raw pain mixed with desperate faith. He didn't hear a voice, didn't feel a warm breeze, no visions or signs, but for the first time in a long time, he felt peace, quiet, small, barely noticeable, but enough for him to say, maybe tomorrow, I'll try one more time. And tomorrow came, and with it, a response that changed everything. The next morning, he woke up different. The problems were still there, the account still empty, but something inside was lighter. He took a long shower, put on a clean shirt, even with nowhere to go, and sat on the couch, phone in hand, not sure what to do. That's when the notification popped up. A message from an old number. Someone he hadn't spoken to in years. An old co-worker. The message was simple. Bro, I don't know why I thought of you right now, but I'm looking for someone trustworthy for a small project. You want to talk? His eyes widened. He read it again and replied with his heart pounding, yes, when can you call me? Within 30 minutes they were on the phone. The project was small, with no guarantees. But as he listened, his eyes filled with tears. It wasn't just the opportunity, it was the timing, how everything aligned, the kind of thing only God can orchestrate. Right then, he knew God had heard him. The answer had arrived. And from that moment on, the tide began to turn. He took the job, even afraid. Even without money for transportation, even without knowing if it would work, he borrowed what he could, cut back even more on what little they had. But he went. The first week, nothing happened. The second week, he nearly gave up. But something inside whispered, stay strong. You prayed for this. The third week, the first result came. Small, almost symbolic. But it was enough to reignite hope. Then things started to move. God opened a door, then another and another. One client referred another. One sale brought 3 more. The debt was still there, but now he could see a way out. Each new day reminded him of that prayer on the cold kitchen floor, and he cried again. But now, with gratitude, it wasn't luck, it wasn't coincidence. It was a promise being fulfilled. The turnaround was happening, not magically, but miraculously, and every step was a victory. What once was lack became provision. What was once struggle became testimony. And that simple opportunity grew in front of his eyes, and the eyes of those who doubted him. He started organizing his life, paid the first overdue bill, renegotiated debts, rebought what he had lost, and most importantly, he regained his dignity. He didn't get rich, but what God gave him was worth more than money. He gave peace, direction, clarity, strength to move forward, even when the world said give up. Over time came stability, then growth, then abundance. He understood something. God doesn't want you to stay broke just to teach you something, but sometimes He allows the drought so you learn to value the rain. Today, He helps others like him, gives, advises, shares what he lived, and he never forgets to say, it wasn't a course, it wasn't a connection, it was God. He heard me, He answered me, and He lifted me up. Maybe you're watching this right now with a tired mind, a heavy heart, and an empty bank account. Maybe you're wondering, why doesn't anything work out for me? Has God forgotten me? Is there any way out of this mess? And I'm telling you this with all my heart, there is. Because if God turned my life around, if He lifted me from the dust, the shame, the brokenness, He can and will do the same for you. But before the blessing arrives, you need to do the hardest thing. Trust. Trust even when everything looks wrong. Trust when no one else believes. Trust when it's just you and God. This story isn't just about money, it's about identity, about new beginnings, about the God who allows you to fall, just to show you He also knows how to lift you up. So stand up, pray, talk to Him, in your own words, no filter, no shame. And then, get ready, because the blessing that feels late is just being refined. At the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen. Isaiah 60:22. And maybe this video is your right time.